What I've learned from reading the Corpus Hermeticum. Absolutely nothing. What is going on, friends? This is Mike. Welcome back to the channel. And I just wrapped up the Corpus Hermeticum. It is book 1 of 3. I have this version of the book. It's the Book of Hermetica, the 3 essential texts, the Corpus Hermeticum, the Emerald Tablet, the Kybalion, by Hermes Trismegistus, and the 3 initiates. And just wrapped up part 1 of 3, which is the full Corpus Hermeticum text. And the reason why I say I learned absolutely nothing, I just read it cover to cover, all the way through, and it's written in such simple language. There aren't really any big words that you need to look up in a dictionary, but the language is so simple, but the ideas that are being expressed in each chapter are really profound. And so I kind of say I learned nothing jokingly, because as I'm going through it and I'm like chugging away, I felt like I only was picking at scraps, crumbs, because the ideas are so big and so profound, but written in very simple language that anyone can really pick it up and at least like get through it and read through it and kind of get through like the general structure and kind of pick up like the basic flow of the text. But there's a lot in it that truthfully, and I don't want this to sound conceited or anything, but I consider myself fairly well read, but I guess just with dealing with any kind of philosophical text, it's like written, it's very like ambiguous. There's a lot of like riddle to it and a lot of like hidden meaning. It's like, yeah, you're looking at just what's on the surface, but you really have to think to get the deeper meaning, the deeper understanding of some of the ideas that the author is sharing. But I will share one takeaway, one little scrap that I was able to take out of this book. And I'll tell you, it's not that, it isn't that hard to read. It is a little heady. It is a little like hypnotic in the way that the actual text is written. But if you can get through it, there are some inklings of understanding that will most likely resonate with you based off of your current level of understanding of some of these ideas or your own observations. But I'll just kind of tell you, like, if you're curious about what this actual book is about, there are a couple of keywords that I highlighted, things like desire. The Corpus Hermeticum is kind of like that text that inspired the idea of alchemy. So they talk a lot about the elements: spirit, fire, earth, water, air. Power. There's a lot. The word power comes up in almost every single chapter. Death is a subject that comes to play. Universe, universal powers, universality. The mind. This is absolutely 100% a book about the mind, not just our minds as people, as human beings, but like you've heard of those things. Maybe you've heard of those sayings like, we exist in the image of God, in the mind of God. Well, those are some of the ideas that are being explored in this book. The world, mind, heart, work, belief, faith, spirit, beauty, persistence. So art, science. So a couple of these are some themes that are touched upon in each chapter. And one of the main key takeaways, and it's actually something that I read today, is like this idea that so let's just assume that God exists. So God is all, and it's just God is all that there is. Within God there exists the cosmos. The cosmos being the visible universe, our solar system, the Milky Way galaxy, the hundreds of billions of other galaxies. the Big Bang, every black hole, every sun, every heavenly body that is out there in space. And maybe even potentially everything beyond that, that is not observable to us because perhaps we just haven't quite created the technology to actually observe what is beyond what is observable. So there's some ideas there. So you have God. Within God is the cosmos. And then within the cosmos is man, us, human beings. And it just is like when you hear that, because one of the basic like principles in this kind of philosophy is just that it's like as above so below. That it is essentially what he's saying is like God, within God exists the cosmos, and within the cosmos exists man. Therefore all of it is connected. So, and even as I'm kind of ranting about this, it's kind of like mind-boggling just to think about if this information is accurate as a philosophy, as a style, as a means of thinking and perceiving the world. What a incredible, big, like awesome idea that is. And you hear things that like man is made in the image of God, and we're all creators, and you know we can create our reality, and some of those ideas are what's explored in this book, which is kind of interesting. So that was just one of the big takeaways that I wanted to share with you guys. And I will say, definitely worth a read through. Probably it would be a project to really go in and digest, chew on and digest the ideas that are in this book. Just like any book of philosophy, it takes some patience. If you read something and you don't quite understand 100% of it the first time that you read it, that's actually a really good thing, because it means that the information in that book, or the way in which the author is presenting it to us, is challenging us. It's challenging our way of thinking. It's challenging our ability to understand. But over time, you know, you might see, like, you might read something one time, and if you know it didn't quite make sense the first time, maybe you pick it up a couple weeks or a couple months later, and you see things that you didn't see the first time. You see things that you didn't understand the first time, because it allowed those principles to kind of grow within your mind. So that's the way that I approach some of these books. But the second part is actually the Emerald Tablet, and it's not like the Emerald tablets of Thoth, but it's just the Emerald Tablet, which is another like fundamental, apparently another fundamental Hermetic writing. The way that they approach it is like, it literally is like just 10 lines that they fit essentially on a page or two. And it's pretty cool because they, in the, at least in the introduction of what it is in this book, it's like the Emerald Tablet were instructions that were passed along to kings, for, you know, to give them help to, like, hey, listen, you're going to be governing, you're going to be ruling over people. You definitely, you know, here are some principles that maybe might be helpful during your course of as you rule. So they have they have like interpretations, not interpretations, but what's the word? They have like 10 different versions of it, 10 different like versions of it, translations, and then there's a little bit of commentary at the end. So we'll get into that next. Maybe I'll go live or share a takeaway once that happens, once I finish that up. Other than that, really appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you are into the ideas of like Hermeticism or Hermes or those kinds of those kinds of ideas, definitely subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to be going into a little bit more detail with this book and some other books that are on the reading list in this kind of world, and also some other areas as well, you know, about ways of thinking about the world, which is just something that I'm like super interested in, a little bit of a pet project. But I like the idea of like sharing it with you, because it helps me understand the material. If I can express or explain something within the book, or something that within that I read, and share it with you, it's a nice way that I can, you know, better understand the material, and maybe this helps you out as well, or maybe puts you on a path to actually check out and read it for yourself. So appreciate everybody for tuning in. Definitely give this a love heart, comment your favorite part, subscribe, and hopefully we will chat again real soon. All right, talk to you later.